All right, Algebra 2 scholars, welcome back to the drive-thru. Hope everyone's having a wonderful day. As always, the drive-thru is sponsored by the deli. Hungry? Stop by the deli. Get yourself a salami sandwich on wheat with mayo. Little ghetto sandwich. Yep, sometimes that's all you got. All right, so look. Think of this problem right here. The absolute value of some number is less than 10. Okay, so there's a range of answers. There's obviously some answers that work and some answers that don't work. For example, would 20 work? Is the absolute value of 20 less than 10? No. What about negative 20? No. What about 6? Yep. What about negative 6? Yep. So maybe you're thinking that it would be easier to describe these with a graph. And you'd be right. And that's what the answer will look like. That's what we're going to get to, okay? So, for each of these situations, we're going to give you step-by-step guidelines on how to do this, okay? So, the first step is always isolate. Isolate means make it be all alone. So we want to isolate the absolute value sign. Okay? Then make it equal to the number or equal to the negative or opposite of that number. And then step 3 in this one is going to be solve them both. Okay? So, notice the absolute value sign is not isolated. It's not by itself on this side. So we want to get rid of the plus 10 first by subtracting 10. That leaves you with the absolute value of 2x plus 4 is equal to 10. Now we're on to step 2. So you take what's inside of the absolute value and you set it equal to 10. Easy enough. However, it may also equal negative 10. So we just succeeded in step 2. We put in an or, we set it equal to the positive and the negative version. Now we're going to solve them both. So subtract 4. You get 2x equals 6. Divide each side by 2. You get x equals 3. I wrote this down wrong. Sorry. Okay? Subtract 4. You get 2x equals negative 14. Divide each side by 2. You get x equals negative 7. And that is the first type of questions. Okay. Now it gets a little harder. We got 4 steps to deal with. The first and the fourth steps are exactly the same as before. So step 1, isolate the absolute value. Step 2, now, if you have a less than sign, that is going to lead you to an and situation. Okay? So what you want to do in step 3 is make it less than the number and greater than the opposite of that number. And now step 4 is solve them both. So, first thing we're going to do is add 8 to both sides. That gives me the absolute value of x plus 4 is less than 2. Okay? Now, we've got to follow steps 2 and 3. So we take what's in the absolute value sign, and say that it's less than 2. But now we need an and in between here. And we have to say that x plus 4 is greater than negative 2. So we flip the sign and change the sign of the number. Okay? Flip the inequality, change the sign. Now we subtract 4. So we have x is less than negative 2. And x, let's see, subtract 4. X is greater than negative 6. So x is less than negative 2 and greater than negative 6. And since they didn't have a graph here, we were not expected to graph this one, so that is our answer, just in words. Okay? Alright, finally. Alright, this is the greater than sign. I want you to start thinking of that as the great or than sign. Okay, because greater than is going to lead us to an or. That's a little trick to remember those, okay? Step 1, isolate the absolute value. Okay? Step 2, greater than leads you to or. Okay? Step 3, we've got greater than the number or less than the opposite of the number. So again, we're just going to flip the sign and flip the inequality. And step 4 is again solve each. Let's do it. So, subtract 1. You get 2. Here, let me write this result way down here. You get 2 times the absolute value of x minus 3 is greater than 13 minus 1 is 12. I'll take a little pause so you guys make sure you understand how I got that. Now, we still have not achieved step 1 yet. We have not isolated the absolute value sign. We have this 2. So we need to divide both sides by 2. And you get the absolute value of x minus 3 is greater than 6. Well, now we've got it isolated. Okay? So we have to say that x minus 3 is greater than 6, or x minus 3 is less than negative 6. So we flip the sign of the inequality and change the sign of the number. Add 3 to both sides, we get x is bigger than 9, or add 3 to both sides, x is less than negative 3. So x is bigger than 9, so I'd have an open dot here on the 9, and everything bigger than 9 would work, or I would have an open dot on the negative 3, 1, 2, 3, and everything less than that would work. And if you put in any number that's shaded, it should work. So if you put in a positive 10, 10 minus 3 is 7, 2 times 7 is 14, plus 1 is 15, that works. It should work because it's shaded. Every number that's shaded should work. Let's try negative 10. Negative 10 minus 3 is negative 13. Take the absolute value of that, it's positive 13. 2 times 13 is 26. 26 plus 1 is 27. 27 is bigger. It works. Then that means we're probably doing it right. Fast track. Can I get a boom?